let's talk about the Eagles game. And with all of that out of the way, let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles game, because I feel like the game was not perfect, obviously. Like, there were a lot of things in a lot of games. You can call me kind of like a pessimist. You can kind of call me one of those people who, like, I'm a perfectionist when it comes to the Eagles, and I kind of like to sit on the couch and, like, nitpick at what the team did. Obviously, the team won. I like that. I like that the team won. I'd rather be 1-0 right now than be 0-1, personally. And when it comes to playing a team like the Lions, a team that last year we beat them 44-6, the biggest road win in our franchise's history. We skinned them alive. It wasn't even like they didn't really have a chance. But in this game, they're obviously more improved, I feel like. They have to be more improved. If they're not, then they're wasting their time with Dan Campbell. They were saying, we're going to run it down the Eagles' throats. And they did. They did. Our defense looks soft. The way I see it, I feel like the Eagles walked into this game with all the talent that they had, and they said, we're going to dominate. And for a lot of the game, the team did dominate. I think the score was like 24-7 at one point. That's a dominant score right there. But the Eagles didn't continue to dominate. The defense kind of let in the flow of Detroit Lions running backs just getting through them. And you can't do that. Like, this defense is so much more improved. There is no possible way that they should be letting that happen. I understand Swift is such a good running back. He's on my fantasy team. He killed it. He had 28 fantasy points for me. But the fact of the matter is that with all the defensive talent that this team has added over the offseason, that just shouldn't be happening. And then when you see that, like, Jordan Davis only had, like, a sixth of the snaps or something like that, and every time he was on the field, he was absolutely clogging up holes, that just can't happen. Okay? During the preseason, a lot of people were really worried. I was really worried about the defense schematically, because the biggest issue with this team last year was defending the run. And when it rolls over to this season and the preseason, it seems like we're going to have a lot of the same issues. And they have to figure that out. Because if we can't stop the run, like, we play against the Vikings next week, Dalvin Cook, he's going to cook us on a silver platter. Right? He's going to be licking his chops to go right through our defense. And we can't have that. We cannot have that in any way, shape, or form. There are a lot of good running backs that we play this year, and we cannot have a bad run defense against them. We have too much talent on our team to be allowing that to happen. Likewise, I feel like we have way too much talent on our team to be allowing 35 points against the Detroit Lions. I expected to win this game by at least 13 points, okay? 13 at the worst. There was absolutely no reason why the Detroit Lions should have been that close to beating us. One drive away from beating us. And it really comes down to the offensive play calling, in my opinion. Outside of the defense, which is my biggest fear. The run defense is my biggest fear. The pass defense did a lot better until the fourth quarter. The coaching decisions on this team scares me. Because you have Jalen Hurts, right? Jalen Hurts looked a lot like he did last year, outside of the addition of A.J. Brown, who is everything that he was advertised to be. Okay, that performance right there against the Lions was not as good as Terrell Owens' first performance with the Eagles, but it was very good. It was very, very good. The guy seems like he can run every route on the route tree, and the only thing that could stop him were passes getting batted down at the line of scrimmage. Jalen Hurts continues to be a quarterback who looks extremely uncomfortable back there. He does. Now, maybe it was because the pressure of success, the Lions, and their home field advantage, their fans were insanely loud. The offensive line did not look good. No. The offensive line looked like... Jalen Hurts was running for his life. The offensive line did not look like the number 1, number 2 offensive line in the league. They were just absolutely getting pressured. But the thing I'm going to say is, we passed entirely too much. Now, I'm not going to say that I was mad that Jalen Hurts had designed runs. What I was upset about was the fact that he had opportunities, especially to step up into the pocket and go straight, but instead, he was kind of like going off the outside. It seemed like he wasn't comfortable enough to go up the middle when it wasn't designed, and there was an opportunity to. I just don't think that we can rely on his arm. At this point, I just don't think we can. I think that A.J. Brown is a good option. I think that our receivers are good options. I just think that he panicked way too much. And hey, maybe the Lions... I don't know what the Lions are. Maybe the Lions are vastly improved, and maybe we were supposed to lose to them by 3 points because they're so good. Maybe. I don't know. But he looked way too uncomfortable back there. A lot of times in which I felt like his receivers also didn't bail him out in certain aspects, but he just looked uncomfortable back there. It was just something about him and not looking comfortable. Now, he was successful. He ran the ball very well. He succeeded a few really, really good deep passes, which I really like to see. It seems like he has a really good connection with A.J. Brown, and that kind of lessens my concern with him. But what makes things even more concerning is the fact that we are not running the football. We should be running the football with Miles Sanders. Boston Scott should not be our short yardage back. I still can't believe that's happening. I still can't believe that the shortest running back on our team is our essentially our goal line back, right? Our short yardage, bum it in back. We need someone else. Or we need to put Miles Sanders in there. I know a lot of people are saying, well, he's a fumbling risk and he's an injury risk. Okay. So, that's why we have depth. Right? He had a really good game. Like, it wasn't an amazing game, but it was really good. And he seemed to be helping out. And it seemed like at the very end of the game, when we had a chance to milk the clock, they were like, all right, Jalen, just keep throwing. You know what that does if it's an incomplete pass? It stops the clock. So I have a real issue with the offensive play calling. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, Jeffrey Lurie wants Jalen Hurts to be a pure passer. Well, that's not happening right now. I'm sorry, that's not happening. And that's nothing against Jalen. Jalen is a great guy, right? There are aspects of Jalen's game that were much improved with A.J. Brown on the field. You could see it. You could clearly see that at times he was very confident. But last year, we succeeded when we were running the football. Miles Sanders can gash guys. There's no reason why he shouldn't be the number 1 down back. And then you split carries with Gainwell and Scott. There is no reason outside of his injury risk. But passing the ball with 8 minutes left to go and risking incomplete passes, that's just silly. I don't know why that happens. And it's absolutely revolting if Jeffrey Lurie can sit in there and say, oh, well, I want Jalen to be a pure passer and prove to me that he deserves a contract. Dude, whatever's going to win us games, dude. Screw this whole obsession with passing. Our quarterback does better when we run the ball. We saw that last year, right? Figure it out. It's just it it's very concerning on that specific level. Now, with the good, we did run the ball for the majority of the game, and we did well when we were running the ball. We got first downs. A.J. Brown, breath of fresh air. The guy looked like he was on cloud nine. He did really well. So when you score 38 points, and of course James Bradbury, great pick six off of a tip pass. We got our first turnover. We didn't turn the ball over. These are all things that we should be celebrating. But there are also things that you just look at and you're like, okay, were we just thinking that we were going to go in there and not show anything? No, I think the Lions had a chip on their shoulder and they really wanted to win because this is a new Detroit Lions team, or that's what they've been touting, right? I feel like the Lions played insanely well at the end of the game, and we were insanely lucky to escape that game with only a 3-point win. And I am disappointed by that because I thought we were going to be better, but I knew that we were going to play down to the Detroit Lions. But I am glad that we won the game. Don't get things twisted. I'm just a real nitpicker in that sense. We just got to improve, and next week in Monday Night Football, it's only going to be tougher. That Vikings team looked really good. They looked extremely good. But the defense has to stop the Vikings, Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson. And we need to come up with like a semblance of an identity because I really don't think we're going to survive all season with Jalen Hurts running out of the pocket and taking the number of hits that he is. Someone's going to tee off on him, and it's going to be 1 or 2 weeks of Gardner Minshew. But I know that I haven't really said much. I know that's the whole game. I am glad that we beat the Lions, of course. Like, you always want to beat your opponent. But sometimes when you're like me, you just want to see more. And I expected more. I expected more from the team, and I expected a more dominant performance. Maybe the Lions are a way better team than they were last year. I don't know.